of things that I referenced. Deferred maintenance and those bond bills, and I want to get to that. And I also want to address what you hear some of the talk show meisters talk about, you hear some of our opponents talk about, that spending's out of control. I heard the former Secretary of A&F say, they let the budget get away from them. 3 separate bond rating agencies,
Yes.
this past December, who have no political skin in the game, affirmed Massachusetts AA bond rating. Standard & Poor's, Standard & Poor's, Fitch, Moody's. And when you literally read the narratives of those bond rating reports, prudent fiscal management, conservative budgeting approach, all giving high marks to what we've done. And that's, compared to what? AA bond rating compared to what? 18 of our economic competitor states had their bond rating either downgraded or they were put on a negative watch. Since we've been in office, spending has gone up 0.06%. 16 years of Republican governors, spending went up on average 4.6% a year. Facts, rhetoric.
Yeah.
And let me just talk about deferred maintenance and debt. Just take the transportation. Bipartisan Transportation Finance Commission started some work before the governor and I were in office. And they just looked at our existing road, rail, and bridge infrastructure and said, just to get our existing road, rail, and bridge infrastructure up to a state of good repair, not including any expansion projects, $20 billion. Because people have not been engaging in things like ordinary maintenance, haven't been engaging in a pay-as-you-go approach, and if there's one issue that's inextricably linked to jobs and economic development, it's transportation. And let me give you some of the debt that we've inherited as it relates to our transportation agencies. Former Turnpike Authority, principal and interest about $3.5 billion in debt. That didn't exist before the big dig. High bond rating, well-run road, well-maintained road. MBTA, $8.5 billion in debt, principal and interest. 30 cents on the dollar to pay debt service. Of all the transportation agencies in the country, one of the highest levels of debt. Now, the buck stops in the governor's office. And the buck goes through the Secretary of Administration and Finance office, then to the governor's office. So that big dig debt, which we're all paying for, was because people weren't being honest. And now people want to come back who were part of that and created that mess and say, I want to govern again. Former Secretary of Administration and Finance, Charlie Baker, when he came on the watch, they were telling us the big dig was $7 billion. Remember 1998 campaign? Paul Cellucci on budget and on time? He gets elected, Charlie Baker leaves, we learn it's $15 billion. He wrote the big dig financing plan. And now he's going around the state telling people, I'm going to cut your taxes. I'm going to cut the income tax, I'm going to cut the sales tax, I'm going to take down the tolls, and I'm going to maintain services. I've got a structurally deficient bridge I want to sell you. Okay? So, the one thing I will say that I'm really excited about this campaign is it's about who's being honest with you. People are frustrated. There's a level of anxiety out there, no doubt about it, but I know people aren't stupid. They first and foremost want leadership that's going to be honest with them. There isn't any magic wand or fairy dust that's going to make these tough things go away. But it's going to take leadership and a plan. And sometimes a little sacrifice, and we've all had to do it in this economic environment. Families at their kitchen table with the household budget, businesses large and small, cities and towns, and in state government as well. And our employees have stepped up to the plate in many regards as well, and we're grateful for that. So I'm looking forward to this campaign because it's very clear. Another opponent, former member of our party, who says, well, we need to think about cutting local aid. Maybe we can't afford education Maybe we can't afford health care. Well, that's going back. That's going back. You know, the former A&F secretary, and he says he helped save this company and turn it around. You know how he turned it around? You know, Harvard Pilgrim, he says, I was the turnaround guy there. He did it with a government bailout before government bailouts were in vogue. And he did it by raising your premiums. Health insurance premiums. That's not a tax. It's not a tax on working families. It's not a tax on cities and towns. When these health insurance executives just hand everyone double-digit increases, that's money out of everyone's pocket. That's a tax as well. So this is, you know, I am incredibly proud of what we've done and the record and the tough decisions, and it hasn't been easy, but I'm excited to be able to talk about it, and I know the governor is too. But it's also about comparing and contrasting that record with that of your opponents. So we're going to need your help, and we're going to need to help get the word out in the ways that we usually are good at as Democrats, in terms of family to family, friend to friend, neighbor to neighbor, and the ways, and not, you know, face to face, emails, letters, coffee shop, you know, wherever people gather, we need to start getting the word out that there's a record of accomplishment in getting things done, and it's very different compared to those who are seeking to come back into government and those who want to go back on the progress that we've made in healthcare, go back on the progress and commitments that we've made in education, go back on commitment to cities and towns. So I will end my speechifying for there, and I know there may be some questions or comments that people may have.
Thank you very much.